Good evening and welcome to your Tuesday edition of this Ibrox podcast. After a weekend where things have gone our way and after another chaotic few days in Scottish football where for once Rangers were not at the front of that. Tommy has joined me tonight. Tommy, first of all, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's weird to think the last time I was on a podcast, I was discussing Muscat's imminent arrival, and it seems like that wasn't that long ago. And ever since, there's been so much that's happened. So it's ever eventful at Rangers right now, isn't it?
It's quite a lot to get through, yes. We'll try and focus a little bit on the game from the weekend. Obviously, me and Hef were in Ibrox after the game. There's a podcast, sort of play-by-play type on that, so we won't touch on it too much here. This is more going to be a look ahead to what is a massive week for Rangers, a massive week for Danny Rohl, and that starts tomorrow night at Hibs. But, Tommy, we're fresh off our first home league win in 165 days. I had to work that out earlier, which was depressing. A decent performance overall. Like I say, I won't go through the game in too much detail, but it's just nice to win a game of football, isn't it?
Yeah, especially at Ibrox as well, because you feel like over the years, like that the games should be normal, to win, your Dundees and stuff like that. So the kind of run of fixtures that we've had and to not come away with any wins it has been a little bit weird. So hopefully this can kind of kickstart a little bit of a better home form, kind of get the crowd back and kind of make Ibrox that kind of fortress again, kind of the way that it has been in Europe. If we can kind of get that back into the, obviously not this season, but previous seasons, but if we can get that back, then that would be brilliant.
Yeah, it's almost like a bit of normality. That's what me and Hef were touching on Sunday
Yeah,
after the game. It's like it felt quite routine on Sunday after months and months of not having that routine win in
yeah.
the league or domestically in any
I,
sense.
I think any team out with Celtic at Ibrox should be pretty much a banker for us to win, really.
It should be, and it's a strange one because usually, even years gone by, we've always been pretty good at home. It's been the away form that's let us down more often than not, whereas this season
Yeah,
just haven't got going in any sense. But as I say, we'll jump to it. A few things to get through here in terms of training video drop today, press conference, a little bit of chat about the coach that's coming in with this Rangers mindset as well. But kind of key takeaway for me, Tommy, is the striker situation, which we were talking about before we came online here. It's a big weekend for the strikers there. We've got Chermiti's first goal, Danilo's first goal, what feels like a while after a decent pre-season, but hasn't done anything in the regular season. Majovski, the one maybe that's looking a bit worse in terms of the three up there just now. But looking at tomorrow night, what's your thoughts in terms of what you want to see up front, what you think we'll see up front, and does the weekend's game come into this thinking at any point?
yeah. In terms of what I think, I have no idea. Like I don't know what Danny Rowe's going to pick. In terms of my thinking, and when I saw Danilo starting on Sunday, when I seen the team lineup, I was like, I actually forgot about Danilo. I was like, oh, we still have Danilo, and I actually thought his goal, he took it really, really well because it's a
Yeah.
really difficult header, and to kind of get that so accurately and off the post was really good. For tomorrow, I think on the back of Chermiti's scoring, I would like to see Chermiti start tomorrow, and just get a bit of momentum going now. Obviously, it could be a case of kind of getting that first goal in now. Was it a great goal? I don't know. It was obviously a keeper error, but he did strike it really well.
Yeah.
Could it just be something like that that gives him a bit of confidence now to go on and start scoring? And what I say, we've not really seen him start. Has he started in the league yet? I don't think he has.
He started Europe a few times. I can't
Yeah,
think of a league one. Someone keep us right
I
in the
think it's
comments.
just
I'm probably wrong, but
I think it's just had European starts, so maybe to see him start tomorrow would be good. But I think in terms of the pecking order, I think maybe Miovski is maybe even below Danilo now, and I would maybe consider Danilo for Sunday as well. But yet again, I don't know. I don't know if maybe Wednesday will we see a team that we want to play on Sunday as well and go with that and kind of have maybe the same 11 on Wednesday that we're going to have on Sunday. I don't know. What's your thoughts on it?
it's weird because we've been so set on having one up front for almost years now, it feels like, whereas I'm still trying to work out what that formation was on Sunday, to be honest, but that's in a good way. Like Danny Rowe touched on it today in the press conference, which again, we'll come on to his comments in a bit more detail later, but he mentioned during that it's a very fluid style. It's three at the back at times, then it becomes a four. It's one up front that becomes a two. So I don't know if you'd look at tomorrow night and maybe play it how we did from half-time onwards, is my initial guess, in terms of having like a midfielder support, Trimity or Danilo, whoever's up front there. But it's just nice to have this conversation where I'm quite happy to see Trimity start. I'm quite happy to see Danilo start. And I was really excited for Miovski to come in, albeit he's not hit the ground running yet. It's a nice problem that the manager finally has, the head coach, I should maybe say.
It should be a problem. It should be a problem that we have, though, isn't it? I mean, the money that we've spent on the three of these players, they should all be firing, and they should all be within reach of the starting 11. So this is the way that it should be. And obviously the competition side of it is where we should be as a club as well, where people that are on the bench need to earn their place, rather than just starting players because, we're so bad, and that's the way that it has been, that players just haven't been performing. We need everybody firing, and that kind of gets other players up for it as well, and gets the best out of each other. You think back to the year that we won the league, and we had Morelos, Roof, with Eaton, Defoe as well. So kind of 4 good options, and that's kind of where we need to be at a club. Our kind of backup players are players that are going to contribute as well.
It's a really good point, because it means you're not relying on someone in something. I don't want to try and do too much negatives here, but there was a couple of scary moments on Sunday, and I'm more thinking about Butland's mistake, which I'm not going to sit and slate Butland because he's been incredible all season. We've all said that. He does have a moment in him. Probably why he's at Rangers. He'd be a lot higher and probably playing Premier League football if he didn't have that mistake in him. But the big thing for me is if Butland has that mistake, we need guys to bail him out. Likewise, Raskin, I think, is probably the one player who's a little disappointing on Sunday. Maybe a little bit limited in how he's played and try to cover the defence at times. So I get that, but he wasn't his greatest performance. But you had other guys stepping up and getting a goal, getting an assist, and that's just something we've not seen. We've been relying on the same individuals all season. It's sort of links back to that. It's nice to have a squad all contributing in some way.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm too worried about the defensive mistakes and sort of the chances that we kind of pass up, because it still is early days, and that kind of stuff is going to get ironed out. That's not going to get fixed over the course of a few training sessions. So the main positive that I'm going to take from it is going forward, it was a lot better. It was a lot more enjoyable to watch, and I think over the course of times, I think on kind of defensively, I think that will improve over the course of time. So I'm not overly worried about that at this moment.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. That's fair. I think we're all feeling the same. It's just we've now got a bit of hope, I guess, and I don't know how far this hope stretches just now. Obviously, the result of the weekend at Tynecastle, I think, is good for us. I'm still not sure if that's the perfect result. It's a weird one. What do you think now is key for us to try and get into that title race? Because, again, we know Celtic aren't exactly in a good position just now. They've had a bit of their own chaos the last 24 hours, which is always nice to see, isn't it? But Hearts are obviously steadily moving along. I've been quite vocal on this, that I'm pretty sure they'll fall off and things will go bad. Now, especially we're playing midweek weekend a little bit with the way the league fixtures are coming in. I think they've had that nice problem of playing the same team 5 games in a row, I think it was, I read earlier. It's pretty uncommon for any big team in this league. So how do we get ourselves into their role, and how do we push up the table even further?
This week is massive. It feels like it, and even though Sunday's a cup game, it still feels like it could massively impact us in terms of confidence and getting momentum as well. If we can go to Easter Road tomorrow, get a win, any means necessary win, that. These are the kind of wins that we're going to need to dig out, and then go into Sunday and win as well. That is just going to be massive. And I quite like this approach that we're having to the situation just now, which is one game at a time. So it's not focusing on too much. And I know we as fans, I'm talking about Sunday already, and I don't think we'll be they'll be thinking too far ahead. But see, just one game at a time. Think about the next game, prepare for the next game, win the next game, and don't get ahead of yourself. Just focus on that next win at all times. Give it a couple of weeks, and then we can review and see where we are. I think, we can catch Celtic definitely, and obviously you touched on the mess that they're in and the stuff that went on last night as well. We have to see that as an opportunity to catch them, especially. Hearts, the mentality that we probably can have on it is that Hearts have never really sustained that over the course of a season. So it's not like if Celtic were in that position right now, I would be saying the league's over 100%. If they were, are they 13 ahead of us?
I've started to think they're more 13 ahead of us. Sorry, yeah, 8 ahead
13
of
ahead
Celtic
of
right now,
us,
isn't
yeah,
it?
8 ahead of Celtic. If Celtic right now were 13 ahead of us, I'd probably say that's it. But the fact that Celtic are only 5 away, the mess that they're in just now, the focus should just be on catching up with them. And then I think the thing with Hearts, I think that will obviously, we'll see over the course of the season if they can maintain that.
There's a great comment here, and by all means, keep the comments coming. It's a bit more busy than I thought it would be tonight, but
Someone says I'm wearing a Hearts hoodie, so I'm away to go and get changed. So.
This is Tynecastle podcast, yeah. Robert's left a great comment here, but I think it's really true. Can this team handle setbacks? Now, that's been the big thing for me, because it's all well and good turning up at Ibrox when the crowd are with you. Everyone's kind of feel good to me a bit far, but we were looking forward to the game on Sunday for once, wanting to see how Danny Rohl put his team out, and then you go and win the game. That's what we want to see. It's our bread and butter kind of thing. But can this team and this squad, it's not so much the manager, because he's not had long in the door. He's been here, a week now? A week today, I'm pretty sure it is, obviously. He's not had the time to find his best formation, find the style, train the players, pick his best team, all these things. For me, it's a worry. Can these players go to Easter Road and win? And a lot of them have. A lot of them, weirdly, Hibs away has been pretty good to us over the years, despite what you kind of think about Hibs away. But a lot of these players have done well there. But can they go and win this game? Can they go and beat Celtic? And I need to see it before I fully buy into the players as much as I'm keen on Danny Rohl doing well.
I think in terms of setbacks, there's two kind of ways that I see that. So you've got like a setback where you struggle within a game, and then that's a setback, but then you overcome it and get a result. And then you've got the setback of getting defeated in a game and then moving forward and setting back from that. So I think we've had two examples of we've been beat off a brand, which you could consider a setback, and then we go and beat Kilmarnock. And yet again, within that Kilmarnock game, conceding could be considered a setback as well, and then to go on and win that game. So I think the two examples really, and the other two examples that I see what I would consider a setback. So early days maybe does show that we maybe can, but we would maybe need to see that on a bigger scale, and maybe against better teams, or maybe a setback in terms of maybe going on a maybe 2-game defeat, stuff like that as well. So early on, I think we can, but again, we need to see a bigger scale of it.
Yep. Yeah, I just want to take us to Danny Rohl's comments from today from the press conference. Again, it's very much that like placebo effect, but it was a nice press conference to watch, unlike what we've watched all season with Russell Martin, obviously in a much more difficult position. But just a few things I wanted to call out. The first thing I get asked was about Martin O'Neill, probably unsurprisingly. Yeah. Martin O'Neill said yesterday on TalkSport that Rangers are no threat to Hearts or Celtic in this league title. Hopefully that can bite him in the arse at some point. Danny Rohl was asked about that and understandably just tried to brush it off as you'd expect. But in terms of his own comments, he felt that the atmosphere in the stadium was very positive, which helped the players. Of course it did. He was asked about the depth for a back three, which I thought was a good question, because there's a few guys in there who haven't had a sniff in terms of like Inciala, Fernandez, Dujon Sterling is a big one that I'm sure we're all excited to finally see back. It's guys that would add that depth, but we saw Max Aarons come on at right wing back for another option. When you do start breaking it down, there's not tried and tested options there, but there's at least bodies that you can hopefully count on and try and build a squad around, because if we're playing weekend, midweek, we're going to need these guys. And he was asked about the formation, and as I said at the start of the podcast, he mentioned himself, it wasn't clear what we were doing, and I think that was his plan. It was very much hybrid, is the word he used. He used the word flexible. Yeah. Me and Hef spoke about how fluid the team was. It's nice, again, we're sort of repeating ourselves a little bit, but it's a lot of options. It's a lot of things that I have no idea what team's going to set up tomorrow night, so there's no chance that Hibs and David Gray can have any idea what's coming at them.
Well, that's good. And then obviously we had probably the opposite sort of situation with Russell Martin, where it was really easy to kind of judge how we were going to set up and play. So to kind of have a guy in there that does have more options and just, this is the way that we're going to play is good. I was really impressed just by all his press conferences so far. Obviously, we got to meet him on last Tuesday as well and sit down with him. And I did really like him, and I like the fact of how engaged he seems with the club and with the fans in particular. I saw a bit of footage of him taking time out to kind of take photos with fans and just kind of round about the side of the park.
That's on the This Is Ibrox Twitter page if anyone wants to go look at that.
Well, I saw obviously as well that you put on, Iain, I think you put it on through our Twitter, that he was kind of the last one in the stadium going around clapping fans and stuff like that. I think that's whether he's been kind of guided into doing that because we had such a bad relationship with Russell Martin, I don't know, but I feel like it is really refreshing to kind of feel like I like this guy, you know, like I want our manager to be a likable person. I want him to first and foremost give us results and give us a way of playing and make us excited to watch Rangers. And to be honest, I am excited to watch us tomorrow. So it's a really good start so far. The press conference kind of felt like they were looking for, you know, their clickbaity kind of journalism, isn't it? They're wanting him to really talk about Rodgers and Martin O'Neill, weren't they? So, but yeah, so far I do like the kind of fluidity, like you said about it. You know, where we're at and where he can take us with it.
One thing that we don't seem to have in the coaching staff right now is that sort of Rangers head. Again, you sort of talk about this stuff. He starts sounding very staunch all of a sudden, but I think this coaching setup do need a little bit of guidance because Danny Rohl's going to his game tomorrow night, and maybe this is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I think there was guys, especially Steven Gerrard, always spoke about this being like he'd go to Pittodrie, he'd go to Easter Road, Tynecastle, and it'd be a battle. You need to win the fight first and then play. And I get that, but sometimes you do just have to play what's in front of you, kind of thing. So I don't know if it's a massive positive or negative at this point, but there was some articles yesterday about from the Daily Record about whether this next coach is going to be Stephen Davis or Neil McCann. Now, personally, I'm kind of leaning towards Neil McCann, I think, mainly because he's got that experience. He probably knows Scottish football in terms of recent Scottish football a little bit more than Davis, but pretty happy with either coming in as two like childhood heroes for most of us, I'm sure. So have you got a preference? Anyone there that you'd rather, or anyone else we've not mentioned that might be keen?
I feel like on a personal level, like I feel like I have more of a connection to Davis, and I feel like he's a bit more of a kind of club legend. But then I feel like McCann, from a coaching point of view, would probably be the better option, just in terms of like his knowledge and stuff like that. I think either or would be a good way to go. So I think that's a good position that we're in, and I wouldn't be particularly annoyed if it was one over the other. So I think we're kind of in a win-win situation if it is going to be like between the two of them. But yeah, I think my preference from a coaching point of view would be McCann.
Yeah, it's just for that kind of a second opinion and more thought, because as I say, if you're Danny Rohl, there'll be a lot of games this season where you're not sure what you're walking into. And again, there's a lot of guys in the squad. Tav's kind of main one I'm thinking of here, who's been around the grounds, he knows what to expect, he knows what's happening here. But I don't know if I want that from a player perspective. I'd rather a coach sort of impartial. And again, Hugo Bear kind of puts it nice there. Not fussy. If it's one of those two guys, I think we're all pretty keen. If it's
it's a good position, And when we sat down with Danny Rohl, he did say that it was important to get somebody in with a club background, wasn't it? He said from a staff point of view, he was going to get two guys in that he had worked with previously, I think he said, and then obviously one was going to be from a club background point of view. So I think that'll set us up well.
Yeah, it's weird it's not happened yet. I kind of thought that would come sort of a few days ago now, unless maybe we're doing those 7 stage of interviews. Yeah, again, we seem to love
possibly.
them.
Yeah, possibly.
We touched on the training clips a little bit, but again, the main focus, I think it was a 3-minute video, and Dujon Sterling was about 2.5 minutes of that. But it's very good to see him back, isn't it? I mean, I know he's had his injury issues. He didn't kick a ball under Russell Martin, but he did get a really bad injury, I think against Hibs at Easter Road, I want to say, at the end of last season. Break his tibula, so he broke a bone in his leg, something like that. Really bad one. Not a kind of run-of-the-mill little knock that you always seem to get, but he'd be a bit of a game changer for me in that defence. I'd be so keen to have him back. If he's back for the Old Firm game at the weekend, I'm not going to fling him in, obviously, but it's a good option to really beef up this team, isn't it?
I think though, like the only worry that I've got about Sterling is can he remain fit? You know, can he sort of stay away from any further injuries? Because that's the big thing with him, and he's a great player, and the versatility that we get out of him as well is really important. If we are struggling in other areas, it feels like you can just slide him in, and you'll get a good performance. But what would you say his best position is?
It's a whole podcast itself, isn't it? I mean, I don't like a player who's used as a utility guy. I don't think you can build around that. And yeah, it's nice to have guys like that. I mean, I'm sure 20 years ago, people were having this conversation about guys like Christian Daly and stuff. Like, we've always needed that kind of guy. But for me, I would just have him. If I played a back five, I think he's built for like right centre back kind of thing. He's powerful, he's strong, he's all right in the ball. He's nothing spectacular, which is why I
don't think in a two centre back though. Like,
I mean, he's played there a few times and done. He played there at Parkhead and done all right. He's not been bad there, but it just depends how you have the rest of your team. Because if he's right back, I think Rangers fans for years have been kind of slating Tav at times, and I've been there myself at times defensively for sure. But for what Tav gives you at right back, whoever then plays right back, people expect goals, you expect assists, and Sterling's not going to give you that. So as long as you've got attacking threats around him and just say to Sterling, right, you sit, you're the defensive right back. Certain games, certain situations, it goes back to what we were saying there. We need options, and Hugo Bear's comment there, he was bought to play right back.
Yeah,
it's pretty fair. That's where I'd probably go for him in the first instance.
Yeah, but I think like in terms of you were making the comment about like you like put him there and then you're expecting like goals. We as a club just need to get out of this mentality that our goals and assists come from right back, and we need to be like any other club and have our wingers and our strikers being the ones that are going to create and score. That would be a great position. We're always like getting dug out by Tav at right back. If Sterling came in and was solid at right back and other people were giving us the numbers, that would be brilliant. I would love to get away from having a right back being, one of our most productive players.
Our top scorer this season again, by the way. But
yeah.
Yeah, just so looking to tomorrow night, what is your 1 to 11 team? And I'm pretty sure you'll get this wrong because we all would, because I don't think anyone knows what formation we're going to go with, let alone how we'll set up. But putting you in Danny Rohl's shoes, what's your thoughts in terms of the starting 11 right now?
Honestly, I can't give you an answer. Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know because, let's say, I saw the team sheet on Sunday and I was like, Danilo? I was so shocked by it, you know what I mean? So I have no idea. We'll probably come up to someone saying obviously about Fernandez being a sub on Thursday, then not selected Sunday. Maybe he'll start tomorrow. I don't know. It could be anything. I'll put that question back to you because I feel like you'll be better placed to answer that.
Very kind. Very kind. I'm the same. I'm not too sure what I want, let alone what I expect. I mean, I'd be pretty surprised if it wasn't that same, I'm going to say back four, but sort of back five in terms of Tav's going to play, Suter's going to play. Cornelius was great at the weekend. I really like Cornelius. He's got a couple of people were digging at him a little bit in terms of how he's played, but in terms of a new defender coming in, for me, he's just shored things up, and he's probably one of my first names in the team sheet right now. Guy like Makoma as well hasn't really done too much, but the weekend's for sure his best game. I wouldn't be too against starting the same team, except maybe having my off-scout for Trimity. And what I was saying to you before that.
Sorry, I was good. What about like Mikey Moore as well ahead of maybe Ant-Man?
I mean, Mikey Moore is a weird one for me because he's a good player. Of course he is. He's got loads of talent. You can see he's got a bit more confidence about him compared to a few weeks ago. I think when he went away with England youth team, he got a hat-trick. That can only help. And I just don't think you start a guy like Mikey Moore at an Easter Road. Coming onto the pitch,
he looked good. He looked good on Sunday, I thought.
He did, but that's at Ibrox. That's a game where the other team are sitting in and he's got the time to kind of get on the ball, look up, look for a pass, run at someone. I don't think he gets that at Hibs, to be honest. I'd be a bit worried at starting him. I would be quite keen to keep it the exact same, just have Trimity in there, because I want Majowski playing against Celtic, and that's the kind of thing for me. It's two big games in the space of 4 or 5 days there. I don't know how much I want the same team starting both games, so maybe one or two tweaks I'd be quite keen on.
Do you think it was weird the press conference that the very last question was around Ant-Man, and it was kind of like it was asked if anyone was injured, but then specifically singled out Ant-Man, and then he said he's available, but then went on to say, I think he said something like it's difficult or something like that, or...
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
really...
Ant-Man. He's not hit the ground running since he came in.
Stopped, so, you know, it's... I don't know.
Yeah, because I think there is talent there in Ant-Man. Like, you can see he's got something. He's just not delivered it yet. And he's one of these guys that I'm trying not to judge under Russell Martin, because they were all so hamstrung. And there's a comment there from James Butler, which is very true. I think Aaron's is similar. People wrote off Aaron's rapidly, and I know he chucked it in Bruges. I'm willing to admit that, but he can still offer something. And again, we're playing 2-3 games a week. We're going to need guys to step in. I touched on at the start, Raskin wasn't great at the weekend. Kasama's not been too good recently, but if you can then bring off one of these guys for an Ant-Man, for a Mikey Moore, for an Aaron's, you're not necessarily weakening the team. And these are good options. It's options in a squad that, as stupid as it is, if you're looking at every squad in Scotland, I don't think I'm swapping any squad for ours in terms of the individuals in there. Albeit I know Celtic have won so many trophies and Hearts are flying just now. I still think we have, individual-wise, the best players, or better players than most, obviously. And it's just whether Danny Rowe can find a formula. Hopefully that formation is the key here. I know I'm waiting to get clipped until I get beat tomorrow night.
Some Celtic fans going to clip that right now. We're going to be on Twitter in 20 minutes, aren't we?
This is the big thing, because it's what I tweeted about as well. The other thing I've not touched on is the player press conference today, which was Derek Cornelius. And the main thing he was talking about is the difference in mentality since the new managers came in, and how the players are running for each other, fighting for each other. Things you would kind of expect. I don't think anything else like, oh, that's brilliant, they're doing that. But I don't want to hear that when we've got big games coming. I want them to win those big games and then say what you want. And we could be sitting here sort of after tomorrow night raging again. That's just the way this could easily go. But yeah, those comments, not for me right now.
It's just the usual sound bites we get, isn't it? And it's like, well, I think of course it's going to be like that, because we went from having a manager that pretty much I don't think was liked and respected, so it's obviously going to feel that way, But I think you're right, let us just focus on ourselves and then say stuff like that, I don't think it was necessary to say anything like that really, and I obviously see a bit of backlash on the back of it, and obviously saying like, oh, we're starting to run for each other. Now, well, that should just be the basics. Whether your manager is XYZ, that shouldn't be dependent on a manager. You play for Rangers. That's just the way it should be. So I don't want to look into it too much, but yeah, I don't think it should have been said really.
Yeah, again, we'll learn a lot about this squad for the millionth time tomorrow night. A couple of minutes left. I'm just going to go for your predictions, not only for tomorrow, but I don't think you're back on until after the Old Firm game, I want to say.
I don't know if I've done the rotas yet, but yeah, I'm not sure.
How do you think the next 5 days are going to go scoreline wise?
I honestly think, right, I think tomorrow will be harder than Sunday, right? And I think, right, and again, I've been pretty positive this season, and I've been let down so many times, and I've still been. And Iain, you've known me for years, right? I'm normally so pessimistic about Rangers, and I'm always the one saying I don't think we'll win the league, and I don't, and I've always been that way. And for some reason, everybody else is like that, and I'm really, I don't know where it's came from. I think we win both games, Iain. I think we win both games. I think we win tomorrow, and I think we go on to the Sunday. And I don't know, it might not be a win in normal time. It might be extra time. It might be penalties, but I think we'll win both games.
I'd hope so. It'd be a bit of a turn of the books for this season, especially to give us that much joy. I just feel like I'm kind of similar as you. We've seen this cycle so many times. We think we've got something going. We think we're back, the famous phrase. But I don't know. I still have so many scars from this team, from this playing squad, and I just don't.
Understandably.
Yeah. But regardless how we go on tomorrow night, we will be back. I'll be here straight after the game, post-match. Hopefully after a win, but we shall see. Likewise, we're going to have a show Thursday night. We'll be there Sunday, so make sure you're subscribing, you're liking the videos. You're here for us for the highs and the lows. We'll leave you with that, though. It's been quite a quick one tonight, but as I say, we're on tomorrow night, so we'll recap everything that takes place over the next 24 hours or so. But thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you next time.